strength is not about fear. You don't prove to your children you're strong by scaring them. Fathers who had an impact on me, two of them, from completely different origins but remarkably similar. My own father, who would be 102 if he was alive today, but he's not, and my father-in-law, George Scanlon. My father left school at 14, worked on farms, self-educated, got married, raised a family. My father-in-law left school at a very young age, left Samoa in his early 20s, came to New Zealand now 60 years ago. Remarkable similarities. One had 12 children, one had 13. Got a lot of relations. In fact, I've discovered a lot more of them lately. Young guy who bowled up to me in the street in Auckland the other day and said, "Hello, sir, you're my uncle." Turned out not quite, but close. Both of them had a deep Catholic faith. Both of them were very committed to the idea that you married someone and you protected them and stayed with them, whatever else. Both of them were tough men who valued hard work and expected obedience, and generally got it. Both of them, in the end, took responsibility for their health. Because I know both of them, with the stresses of large families, businesses, work, 2 jobs, and the case of my father-in-law for 40 years, didn't look after themselves the way they should have until they got a bit older, and then looked after themselves very well. And of course, I've had the opportunity to be a father myself. My most intensive cultural experience, being a Palangi from Southland, was going to ask my father-in-law if I could marry his eldest and most precious daughter. And he made me go over to the bus garage in Kilburnie where he worked and walk into the smoko room full of his Samoan mates. Just to make it clear. He did admit when I was sworn in as Prime Minister that he now thought I was probably good enough for her. I didn't have to try that. The first Polynesian woman I met, I married. But I learned a few things out of all that experience in my own. One is that strength is not about fear. You don't prove to your children you're strong by scaring them, because fear distorts their personalities, their understandings, and their emotions. I also learned that when you are a man, it is hard to talk and sometimes even harder to listen. But with our children, that's what we have to do, particularly with our boys. And I know your boys. Because, because my children have played sport with them and gone out with them. And I know the strength of their fathers and the weaknesses of their fathers, because you can see it in their boys. We've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to see, get to know, get to understand so many young people who are not like me. As my children often point out to me, I'm the only Palangi in our family. There's 7 of them, and one of me. So I also learned from the experience with the Samoan family of the hard graft that goes to creating a new life in a different country. Just the years and years of hard work, the money, how to have enough, how to get enough of it, how to get a bit more. The respect that comes with achievement, particularly with the achievement of education. And so part of my job in government is to make that work better by being a good government. So people can have better jobs, pay less tax, have more income, get more support if that's what they need. And that's what we'll continue to focus on. But the resource to change the issues you're confronting and dealing with don't come from government, because government can't buy trust, it can't buy love, it can't buy the years and years of commitment that make a family work and make a community great. We can't buy those things. We can help where they are. And if there's one thing I can say to you, it is, as the Prime Minister of New Zealand, I have deep and abiding confidence in you. That where the courage to change is required, it is there. With the ability to imagine a family without violence, we can imagine that. And where the support is needed for our men and for our fathers, then that support is there in this room, in your family, in this community. Whaftai lava, ia manuia, soifo.